webinar, so that way I can then also post it to our website and share it in the newsletter on Friday. My name is Nicole Bostel. I'm the Director of Communications here at STEM School Highlands Ranch. And today is our third of 5 parent information sessions. The topic today is getting connected. I mentioned a little bit ago that this presentation is not quite as long as the other one, so there will be plenty of time for questions at the end if you have them, and I might even be able to give you some time back in your day. Okay, I'm going to admit a few more people and start to share my screen. All right. All right, so today's information session is called Getting Connected. And just bear with me, I'll be admitting people as we go through this presentation. Trying to organize my screen here. Okay, so as I mentioned yesterday in our parent information session, we do have a section on our website specifically for parents. It's in that top right-hand corner. If you click on that, it takes you to this, what you see on your screen here, where it says, oops, get involved, get connected, and then get informed. So if you have time, please poke around in those 3 different areas. That should be a good portion of the information that you need to know to get started here at STEM. And then we have a lot of information that's posted onto our homepage in that rotator. We post a lot of things to the news section. That's kind of a running feed of all of the posts that we put up onto our website. And then additionally, we have the different school pages, which you can find under academics for secondary families. You can also find anything that you need to know about our counseling department, which is student support services. That would be under academics, and then it says secondary academic counseling. So you can click on that. So I would recommend to kind of just poke around our website and find out where things are. It's a lot of information. So you do kind of, in some instances, you do have to look a little bit because it's very difficult to fit it all onto the homepage. So with that, one big thing that was put into place a few years ago from our school accountability committee was, which is also referred to as the STAC, was our communications pathways document. So that has been updated, and the one for this year is up on our website. And this document can be found on our Get Connected section of our parent page or on our Contact Us page. And this outlines a number of different topics. It's 2 pages. On the left-hand side, in that gray column going down, we have kind of the broader topics of, let's say, for instance, attendance, and the kind of different subtopics that you might have a question about. And then it kind of walks you through where you can find the information and who to contact. So it's kind of a one sheet, double-sided, kind of quick reference guide of who you should contact for what and where you can find the information. It is really important that families follow this communications pathways. We communicate this out to our staff, that this is the process that our parents and even our students should follow also. When somebody jumps the pathway, so for instance, if they don't reach out, if the pathway designates that they should reach out to the classroom teacher first, and they go straight to the building director, and they cut out the teacher, there's a very important step in there that we need to have in that process. It gives the teacher the opportunity to try, and if it's a problem, to try and fix that problem, or if it's I'm making my teacher aware of something that's happening with my student inside the classroom, and if this teacher doesn't know, then it really does delay creates it causes us to investigate different things longer because not all of the steps were followed in that pathway. So please take a look at that when you get a chance. It's a quick reference guide. You can print it out, and it also has email addresses. For some instances, there are the direct phone numbers that you can call, or it should direct you on where to find it on our website. So the goal is to have all issues resolved quickly and efficiently. As I mentioned, jumping the pathway could result in a delay in getting a response back. And then just keep in mind that staff have 72 business hours to respond back to families. Some teachers are teaching multiple classes depending on what the grade level is, which means that they have multiple preps. And if you think about the difference between how many students an elementary school teacher has versus how many students a secondary teacher has, that they might have more families that they're communicating with on the secondary side. Doesn't necessarily mean more work, because an elementary school teacher is teaching multiple subjects, but it does mean that they're having to take that individual time to respond back to more parents on the secondary side, because they could have somewhere of, close to over 100 students in a semester that they're teaching or working with, and then communicating with those families. So just keep that in mind, that allow them some time to respond back to your email. If you don't hear back from the teacher within that 72-hour window, then you can move on to the next step in the pathway, which could be their supervisor, which would be the building director. Okay. If the matter is not resolved, please reach out to the next individual along the appropriate pathway. Okay. If there's something that's not identified on the communications pathway and you'd like to make a recommendation, we love to get that feedback either through our communications email, which is listed there, or you can complete the feedback form, which is located on the contact us page. That's a really helpful form because it allows for us to capture on a number of different topics, and then we tag the different supervisors or the people who are responsible for those departments, or who would have the information whenever there's a submission that comes in. That way they can take care of that and they are aware. Okay. So we have a little note in here that please keep in mind that the start and the end of the semester, the workload for staff increases. So please allow for patience. You will see a few small things on the website that are outdated. We are in the process of updating it, but we are now, actually, there's one more day and then all staff will be back in the building. So we kind of come back in a staggered approach depending on how many contract days you work. So actually, I believe Friday is the first day where our entire staff will be back in the building. So one more day. Today, we welcome back all of our returning teachers. So we have our new and returning teachers that are getting to know each other, get inside their classrooms, and getting everything set up. And then they're also going through orientation. So if you're starting to reach out to teachers, I would suggest to either give them some time, or if you're thinking about reaching out, I would hold off and wait probably until either Monday or Tuesday. One, to allow your student's schedule to kind of settle, but two, to also allow the teacher the opportunity to kind of get settled. As you can imagine, there's a lot of information at the beginning of the school year that they're taking in, so they can get overwhelmed very easily. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Another thing to note, we do not require teachers to respond during the day when they are teaching. They do have planned period time. So we do encourage them to go through their emails during that specific particular time period during each day. However, they might not be able to get through all of those emails in that designated period of time, because they are also using that to plan lessons. So that's why we give them that 72 hours to respond back to parents. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about communications at STEM, and this is mainly the area that I manage, as well as our communications manager. His name is Jeff Marr. The two of us work together to manage all communications efforts for STEM School Highlands Ranch. We are also managing the communications efforts for Cozon Schools, and for those that don't know, Cozon Schools is the kind of governing body of the network that we're developing. So STEM School Highlands Ranch is a flagship school under Cozon Schools. And then the goal is to replicate for future campuses. And that's why we hired a chief innovation officer. His name is Matt Cartier, and he joined us in July. and that is going to be part of what he does. He is further developing our strategic plan, as well as working toward replicating our campus. So to give you some examples, there are other charter networks within the state that you might be familiar with. KIPP Schools is one of them. DSST is another one. American Academy is another one. So what we're looking to do is to kind of be at that particular level where we have multiple campuses under that Cozen Schools umbrella. So our communications team develops all of our messaging direction, the strategy behind, what are we talking about right now? And that is really important right now. As parents are coming back, between Jeff Marr and myself, we're really sitting there with our ears to the ground, and we're monitoring all of our social media feeds. We're also monitoring all of the email inboxes to see what our parents asking about. Is there anything new at this time of year that we're not already planning to cover? That way we can make those adjustments and say, we're getting a whole lot of questions about new IT policies. Let's make sure we get some communications together, because we're seeing a lot of questions out there, and we want to make sure that we get the right answers to everybody, and so that can reduce that misinformation. Okay, so we communicate not only with parents, but we communicate with our students and our staff. So we're responsible for that. And then we also work really very closely with members of the media to pitch media stories to get coverage for our school. So this is myself, I'm on the left, and that's Jeff Marr on the right. We're located up in our Cozen P-TECH building, and then we come down to be inside the school during the school day so that we can capture any content that's going on. And there you can kind of see what we're each responsible for. This is just a little bit of a cloud that kind of breaks down what our roles and responsibilities are. And then these are all the different audiences and platforms. And so we really want to make sure that we share this out with our community. That way they know we talk not only to a lot of people, but we listen to a lot of people. And then we communicate out and monitor on a lot of channels. And this is really important because we really try to be really effective in our communications, in our strategy, and in our messaging to make sure that we're hitting the right people, and that we're also giving you what you need. So if there's ever a moment where you feel like you're not getting enough information, or you're having difficulty finding where the information is, you can always reach out to us at communications, and we'll do our best to get you in either the correct information or get you to the right spot to where you can find it. But as you can see those under our social media, you can see all the different channels where we're engaging with people. And we really try and tailor the content on those channels to meet who our audience is on those channels. So if you work in industry, we'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. That's a great way for us to find new industry partners, see what you're doing for your career, and see how we can then work with you and connect you with our students inside the building. So you'll notice that sometimes our content on LinkedIn is a little bit different than what we post to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the like. We do 3 newsletters every single week. One of them is the parent newsletter. I'll touch on that on a later slide. We strongly encourage our community to stay connected with us in communications. We can only be as effective as possible if we know what's happening in our community, and that means that we need and really encourage our parents to communicate with us. So there is that. There's our Facebook page, there's our Instagram that you can reach out to us at. There's also our email address, which is communications, that feedback form. So there's a number of ways that you can reach us directly. If it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you want to provide feedback, but let's say your student did something really cool that you want to make sure is shared with the community. And it might not even be something STEM related. So we've had in the past where students really wanted to start a mountain biking club, and they weren't able to start it here at STEM, but they got together outside of STEM, and then they started competing. And so then they wanted a way to share their successes on the course with a STEM community. And so they would send us periodic updates, and we would put it in our newsletter because we want to celebrate our kids. And we also want to help our parents connect with one another. And so maybe that story was a way for another parent to connect with other students and families in our community. So on our communications page, which is under the About Us tab. There is a form on there. It's a Google form, Share Your Good News Parent Submission form. So if there's ever any good news that you want us to know about and you don't feel comfortable sending it via email, you can complete that form. And it also allows for you to include attachments in it, like pictures. How to stay in the know. So we always post all of the information to our website. Every Friday, we do a weekly parent newsletter. We really try and target for 4 o'clock on a Friday. However, we have a lot of people who contribute to that newsletter. So while I do strive, like I said, to make it at 4 o'clock, sometimes I don't get content until, end of the school day or maybe even into the evening. And so I really want to make sure that that content makes it into the newsletter so that our parents can read about it. And so I usually hold the newsletter so that I can get that content. So while I would love to have it be a consistent time each week, that hasn't really been something we've been able to be really consistent about, because we want to make sure that all of the content is in there. So just be on the lookout for that. It's really important that all the parents read that. We send it on a Friday, that way you have all weekend to read through it and get prepared for the upcoming week. That's where we're going to include information, news and updates on both elementary and our secondary school. And you can also find information about enrichment, athletics, good news. We'll post usually an update from either Ms. Kovaleski or the building directors will be inside there. Deputy Gabe does a column in there. So there's a lot of really good content, but a lot of really important information that we push out in that newsletter. Our goal is to, even if it's like something, for instance, about our lightning delay policy, we usually try and get that information in the newsletter, and then it stays in the newsletter for a couple of weeks. In the event you miss 1 week, we try and keep that same content in there over a span of a couple of weeks. That way you might catch it the following week if you didn't go back and read it. I download every single week a spreadsheet of email contacts that I then upload into Constant Contact, and that's how we send the newsletter. That is the only information that I download aside from first and last name that goes into Constant Contact, and that's so that I have the ability to send to multiple people. You can subscribe yourself using that link right there. It's also available on our website, or you can make sure that your information is updated in IC. That way, when I pull it out of there, it will be the correct information that I upload into Constant Contact. Okay. It's really important that you always make sure that your information in Infinite Campus is up to date, because we do use the tool called School Messenger, which pulls information from Infinite Campus to send those emergency notifications. Pick My Kid this year is another tool that we'll be using for those notifications. And that also pulls from Infinite Campus. So if you ever change your cell phone number, please make sure that you also update your parent portal account. That way we can ensure that you're still receiving those text messages. This is an example of what the parent newsletter looks like. I sent the first one through Constant Contact last week, so that should be in your inbox. If you didn't get it, you can reach out to us and we can either look to see if you didn't get added, or we can add you right there. Just email communications and we can get you all set up there. But those are just some of the items that are inside the newsletter and where you can find that information. We also have an archives page on our website that I update after each newsletter gets sent. That way you can always go back and reference another newsletter if you need to. So for families who want to get connected with other families, we do have community Facebook pages that are grouped by the student's class. So you can find that on the Get Connected page towards the bottom. I've linked all of the new pages up there. So we just kind of rotate out the graduating class and then we add another kindergarten class. They are managed by parents. There are some pages where I am the admin, but I would love for a parent, if I'm the only one listed as an admin, to take over that. And that could be that previously there was a parent and they moved on to another page, or they switched schools and they're no longer at STEM. And then I became the default. So if you're interested in being one of the Facebook admins to a group page, just reach out to me and I can help you get added. And then you can kind of help manage that page. We do want that to really be more of a parent-led initiative, because that would, so that you guys can create that environment where you can get connected. I also am a member of the parent and community Facebook group. I do post things in there from time to time. I try not to really engage in any discussion since that's your platform. However, if in any event information is shared that is incorrect or just something that needs to be clarified, I may post or comment on it so that I'm providing the most up-to-date information, but that is run by two parents, and they do a great job of kind of moderating that particular page. So best practices, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Start with that communications pathways. If you have a question about the pathways or if you have any feedback about it, remember to email us at communications so that we can take that under advisement and see if that's another pathway that we can add. You can also always use that STEM feedback form if you need to submit any questions or if you want to provide us any feedback. You know, we always love to hear great things from you. So if you want to send us some kudos, but you don't know who to send it to, you can send it to communications. You can also fill out that feedback form. We will, if it comes through that form or via email, we usually pull that snippet out and put it in our staff newsletter so that everybody can see the nice words and comments that are coming in from our community. So just know that it just doesn't sit somewhere. We do share it with everybody. So, and that is the end of my presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to open up the floor for any questions. Any questions? No questions? That can't be. It doesn't have to be related to communications.
Nicole, actually, I did have a question. I thought I saw yesterday we were supposed to be asking about like school photos, but I don't remember hearing anything about it. It says school photos will be on the 15th and 16th.
Yes.
What day will first graders have their photos taken?
They typically go, I need to check with the elementary school director. So she develops what the schedule is. And then we communicate it out to the teachers, communicate it out to families, and then we post it in the newsletter and in that calendar. So I'm just waiting for her to develop what the schedule is, like how she's going to rotate the teachers that bring them down. So I'll have hopefully more information in Friday's newsletter.
Okay, so we should hear by Friday what day it's going to be.
Yes, I think for the first one, we try and do it on both days. Like, so for instance, if the teacher takes the whole class down on the 15th and then on the 16th, the aide will come and grab anybody who missed it on the 15th. Or, you know, if a kiddo had a meltdown and they want to give it one more try, or if they really felt like I wasn't wearing my best outfit and I have another outfit, they can run back through it again on the 16th. But I'll get further clarification to see if she's going to follow that same format.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nicole, do we know if there's been a Facebook group set up for the new kindergarten class this year?
There is. I set it up, and so I would love for somebody to take that one over if you would like to do that.
It may not be the best option, but
so
good to know it's out there. Okay.
It is. I believe I updated the button on the page because I think I did that while I was on vacation because I forgot to do it before I left. So I'm pretty sure it's up there, but I'll check after this. You can also search for it. It would be the class of 2036, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get access to that? My kiddo is also going to kindergarten.
Oh, great. Okay. So just go to Facebook and then search STEM School Highlands Ranch class of 2036, and it should pop up, and then you can request to join that group.
Perfect. This is only for the kindergartners, right? Or is it for the entire STEM?
That particular group, so we don't do any like some groups they try and keep it private and they ask you a question and they want you to verify, and they do their best to really prevent people from scamming their way in. But it's really hard because we as a school can't provide an admin to a Facebook group, like a list of students in order for them to verify. So they really try to do their best to kind of manage it as best as they can with the information. So it's a little bit of the honor system. So if you're in the class of 2036, I would join that page. I guess I would say this, if you are in any of those Facebook group pages and there is somebody selling content or anything that has our logo on it, unless it is coming from our SparkMart store or from somebody like officially from STEM, which we would post it to our Facebook page first, I wouldn't buy any of that stuff. I try and catch them all as quickly as I can, but sometimes I miss a few, and those are scams. They've been trying to post quite often. So please don't buy anything from a third party. What other questions do you have? Any questions about Driveline, Pick My Kid, lunches?
Yep, Nicole, I have a question about the lunch. So I just want to understand what is the difference between the free lunch and the reduced lunch?
So every student can take advantage of the free lunch this year. They have to either pick the I think it's a half cup vegetable or the half cup fruit. So, and I'd have to look at the language again to be exact, but it's in their flyer also. And I think we have it, it was in yesterday's presentation, exactly what the language is, but they'll also have signage up in both cafeterias that says this meals are free if it has these components in it in order for it to be free. So I know during COVID, they were a little bit more strict. They wanted to require, I think you had to pick like a milk, a vegetable, and a fruit in order for it to be free. And I think they loosened up those guidelines a little bit more this year for the free part. So I think you only either have to pick a vegetable or a fruit in order for it to be free. If you pick none of those things, then they'll treat it as an a la carte, which means that you'll get charged per item.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted
Like,
to ask
this time-
the free,
Go ahead.
just to add another question to that. We're not required to do the free lunch. Can our children bring their own lunch?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good that it's there as an option in the event that, you know, it was a quick run out the door, you just got back from vacation, you don't have any food in the house. So it's a good option to have, and everybody's eligible for it. You don't need to complete the free and reduced lunch application to be part of it. However, the district is asking that everybody completes the free and reduced lunch form. They have a rationale as to why, and I think I linked that into the parent newsletter. It was like a letter that they sent out. A lot of it is they collect the data, and it helps for them to kind of anticipate like who might be taking part in free and reduced lunch programs in the future. And additionally, it allows, so there's components of it. So you might not qualify 100%, but they might be able to say, well, you get a 25% discount, not just on food in the future, but you could also be eligible for discounts on field trips or discount on bus passes. And so there's a lot of extra benefits that are part of that program, and that's why they want everyone to fill out the application. There was another question from before.
Yeah, this is George. I think next week is for kindergartners, just one day is school day, and you have to pick another day for information session, right? So anything else that you can add on for families like us who just moved to Colorado?
Oh, yes. Well, welcome.
No, thank you.
So these next probably 2 weeks for everybody is going to feel very intense, very stressful. Just know it gets better. So specifically for kindergarten, you will pick one of 3 days to do your Kindy Spartan launch. Okay, so you'll fill out the sign up form and you'll pick a time. You'll come one of those 3 days. You do not need to sign up for every single day. You come the day that you signed up for. And then on Thursday in the afternoon, the kindergarten teachers will then share out the class assignments. And then your first kind of day of school, which is an abbreviated day, is Friday. So we do a small event with parents and students in the morning. We call it Tissues and Tears. So it's after Driveline concludes, and then our kindergarten parents come to the building. I believe it starts at 8:30, but I'd have to look at the calendar. And that's that Friday. And then that gives you the opportunity. You can take pictures. We'll have some things set up so you can take pictures of your student. And then you get a chance to say goodbye, walk them into the building, and then, or up to the building, and then the teachers kind of take them from there and take them inside the classroom. And then they do an abbreviated school day. So then kindergarten will have their first full day of school that following Monday, where they'll arrive at, for school, 7:30, it's, or to come a little bit earlier than that in the morning to take part in our Driveline. And then they'll also dismiss at the normal time in the afternoon.
Thank you, Nicole.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of comments from kindergarten parents nervous about getting their kids out of the car. Can you explain the process, the volunteers that help kids get off the car?
Yes. So one of the reasons why kindergarten doesn't start 100% like normally on our first full day of school, which would be the 8th of August, is because we talk about those things when they come. For kindergarten Spartan lunch, we're going to talk to the kiddos about what it's going to be like. And then their first day on that Friday, they'll do what's called expectation stations, where their teacher takes them around the school and kind of shows them this is where the bathroom is, and this is where the school door is, and this is how you come in and out from Driveline. And they're going to meet the elementary school aides who help. There are full-time staff, and they help with getting students in and out of the car during Driveline. So they'll always see a familiar face mixed in with some of the parent volunteers who sign up to help. And they'll go through, here's what to expect when you pull up to school in the morning. You're going to want to make sure you have your backpack and your jacket and your lunchbox. And we'll come to the door and we'll let you out. And then you'll meet with an aide, and then they'll walk you into the cafeteria. So the aides and the teachers will walk our kindergartners through what that expectation is like. That's not to say that it won't be a little bit scary for them. So we do know that that's going to be something that happens, but our staff is very well prepared for that. What other questions? Does anybody have questions about Pick My Kid?
Just trying to download that app and see how it works actually. So is it like we put in a kiddo's name and then we get a time or something like that which shows what time we have to reach there to drop the kiddos off? I'm trying to understand Pick My
Yes.
Kid app is what it's used for.
Yes. So the Pick My Kid app is a dismissal app, and what it's connected to your cell phone number. So we pull the parent's first and last name and cell phone number from Infinite Campus. It goes into Pick My Kid. So as soon as you set up your account, and if we have the matching cell phone number on file, it'll automatically link your account together, and you should be able to see your students. Okay. So when you come in the afternoon to pick up your student and you come into the parking lot at the correct time, when you open up the app, you'll hit the pickup button, and then there should be another button in there that says announce. And when it's green, you click that button. If it's gray, that means that you're either too early, or you weren't delegated to pick up that day, or, if you were set up as a delegate. And so then you just wait in the car and we do the rest. So we get a notification that you're there. We have an attendant that walks through the Driveline with an iPad and puts the cars in order. We load 24 cars at a time. And so they put all 24 cars in order. The teachers have the teacher app in their classroom that they're looking at. And most of the time they have it up on the screen so that the students can see it also. And a lot of times when the students become familiar with it, they see their name. And when it says active loading, then the student knows, my parents are here and I'm gonna go down to go get in my car. And when it says next line, the students start to pack up their bag and get ready to go. So it's like it's like a staggered announcement. So the next line are the cars that we're putting in order that would then load after the set of 24 cars have been loaded and exit the parking lot. So I would look at it as more of like a process and efficiency app for the staff to process the students out of the building safely. And then we ought to also look at it as like a security app too, to ensure that we're putting the right student in the right car with a right family member.
Thanks for clarifying that.
You're welcome. It's really important that you set up or at least download and set up your account in advance, because it's really difficult for us to help families once we're in Driveline. Because it's a very, in order for us to process the cars that we have to process in order to remain efficient, we don't have the ability to, step aside and help a parent, because we have to keep moving and putting the cars in order. And we don't have enough staff to really help assist while we're in Driveline. So that's why we recommend try and get it set up now. If you don't see your kiddo email communications, that could just be that we don't have the right phone number on file. If you need to help setting up a delegate, and that would be how, if you had a carpool and you were delegating somebody else to pick up your kiddo, you need to make sure you set that up. And then you also need to make sure to communicate to that delegate that they have the app in order to pick up your student.
Okay. I have one more question. So for Pick My Kid app, it says when I try to information, when I put it in, it says looks like the information on the file is incomplete. So
Okay. So what I would do is I would email communications with what you're seeing, like just some of that information to say, like, this is my first and last name with my cell phone number. This is my student. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at what we can do to take a look at it. There is also, we have a Pick My Kid page on the website. And there's a help form on there as well that you would just complete. And then we would reach out to you through that form also. That's probably the best way to do it. Just because the communications inbox does get inundated with emails, and it's the ability for me to process through all of them like slows down, but we do have somebody that helps with that Pick My Kid form to help ensure that everybody's account is set up appropriately. So if you find that form and you complete that, we can help you through that form also. All right. What other questions do you have?
Nicole, I had just one question regarding the school supply lists.
Yes.
So for at the bottom, it had donations for the school. I'm assuming, for our kids, we should bring all the kids' stuff the first day of school. If we're doing donations for the office and so forth, do we also bring those the first day of school and in like in a separate bag?
You can.
How does that work?
You can if you want to, but it sounds like it could be something that could be a little bit bulky, and depending on the grade level of your student, it might be too much for them to carry. So if there's an opportunity that you can bring them by earlier, that would be great. Okay. So we're here all this week. The front offices are open. I believe they're open until 3:30 every single day this week. We are doing placard pickup until 5. We can't take a ton of stuff at that time because we're on the opposite side of the school and we're just not staffed to move it. But if it's like a couple of people drop a few things off, we can get that over to elementary school. They just need to be properly labeled. And then the other opportunity would be Monday during Spartan launch. You can also drop it off then.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to do this again tomorrow, and that one is going to be about getting involved. And so that's actually a really fun one because we're going to have some people from PTO, from SAC. I don't think we'll have anybody from the board, but we'll be talking about how you can get involved with the board because they're actually doing a lot of really great work right now. And then we'll also be talking about volunteer opportunities and kind of what we expect from parents every single year as far as their commitment to give back, either inside the classroom with volunteer hours, or if you just can't make it in, there's an option to just donate to kind of fulfill that that donation, that volunteer request of 30 hours per family for the year. So we'll be talking a lot about that and just all the different opportunities that PTO has and SAC for parents to get involved. So I believe we have a lot of opportunities to get involved and really great ways to meet other people and have a really fun impact here at STEM. Did someone have a question before I go?
Hi, where did you say that Pick My Kid specific screen is like?
Let me see if I can find it, and then what I'll do is put it in the chat box. Okay. So it would be on the parent page. And then if
Okay.
you go to get informed, and I
Parent
know it's a
page.
lot of information, but there's a Driveline page.
Parent page, get informed, explore how
Mhm.
to get informed.
And then if you click on Driveline information and then you kind of scroll down, I know it's a lot of information, but then there's Driveline using Pick My Kid for 22-23. And so there's a lot of information there about how to get help. And I'm pretty sure I have, where's my help form? It's on find out more about Pick My Kid. And this whole page really kind of walks you through like how to register your account. If you need help directly from Pick My Kid, they have a direct support. But if it's something that you think that we could help with, and I'll copy the link to the form, I have a link on that Pick My Kid page. So let me put that in the chat box for you to make it.
Find out about my Pick My Kid, right?
Yeah.
So that-
And so then that's like our Pick My Kid page that we put together to kind of help families. We also have a flyer here at, if you're coming today or tomorrow to pick, or Monday to pick up your placard, we have a flyer here that could offer some support. And then we also might be able to troubleshoot depending on how busy it is. I've been able to help a couple of families when it was quiet. I was able to help them get their account all set up and then kind of walk them through it.
I'll just fill up the form and then sort of connect. Thank you.
Yes, if you can't make it, then fill out the form. And if you can't make it to pick up your placard, we'll, on the first day of school, we will put on Monday, we're gonna give the remaining placards that haven't been picked up. We're gonna put them in the teachers' mailboxes for elementary. And then they will then put it inside the students' backpacks starting Tuesday and Wednesday so that they can get them to the families. But it's really strongly encouraged that you guys pick up that placard in advance because that's a big part of what helps us during dismissal because it has the Pick My Kid code on it with a student's name. And so that helps us really go through the system pretty fast to go like, I got this car, I put this car in, this car's in, this car's in, and then we can go down the line really, really fast to kind of put them in order that they need.
So we can pick it up today, now?
Yes, today until 2, and then tomorrow 1 to 5, and then you can also pick up on Monday. Okay, but keep in mind we had to change the location. We had a printer issue, so we had to move to a different printer. So we're now in the secondary school lobby.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Thanks so much for spending a portion of your afternoon with me. I'm going to give you back about 15 minutes. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.